James Selfe took a keen interest in politics in the 70s. He worked his way up the ranks until he was elected to the National Council of Provinces in 1994. The activist played a role in the Constitutional Assembly, which drew up the Democratic Constitution. Selfe served as the DA spokesperson on correctional services since 1999. He often led the charge for the official opposition during the National Assembly debates, like during the State of the Nation Address debate in 2013.
Shakespeare has been much quoted in this House over the last 2 days, and all that I can think of after listening to the Honourable the Minister's speech now is the phrase that comes out of Macbeth, that her speech was full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
Selfe championed several cases that set a legal precedent for the country. They include the spy tapes case against the National Prosecuting Authority. This led to the resuscitation of the corruption charges against former President Jacob Zuma.
We've been at it, as you said, for 8.5 years. We've been to, I think, 7 or 8 courts in order to get to this stage. So if it happens that the National Director decides not to proceed with the prosecutions, we will then have to examine his reasons. Those reasons have to be rational, they have to be logical, and if they are not rational, then we will most certainly take that decision on review.
Years earlier, Selfe began questioning allegations that Bosasa and its entities were milking the Correctional Services Department. The allegations were also dealt with at the Commission of Inquiry into State Capture.
Well, it was quite clear that Parliament, through its institutions, was unable or unwilling to deal with the matter with sufficient seriousness. And I felt that a proper inquiry, perhaps a Judicial Commission of Inquiry or some other Commission of Inquiry, would be a more appropriate way of dealing with it.
He also worked tirelessly to ensure accountability for the Nkandla upgrades.
I was a member of all 3 ad hoc committees on Nkandla and in fact went on an oversight tour of the Nkandla homestead. But I can tell you that all the efforts that we made to have key people called to the committee, to have documents produced, to have the then President himself come before the committee, were blocked by the majority party. In the second ad hoc committee, I constructed an alternative report, which was put to the vote and simply voted down. So it was not a pleasant experience.
Selfe was also furious that South Africa took a decision to withdraw from the International Criminal Court.
Now the Minister of Justice says we are withdrawing from the ICC. What message does that send out? That South Africa is a safe haven for war criminals and perpetrators of genocide. That we are no longer a nation of our word. That human rights is no longer a compass for our foreign policy. It's a shocking step.
The EFF.
Now, as the curtain has drawn on the life and times of this veteran politician, James Selfe's party says he will be remembered for blowing the whistle on corruption and holding government accountable. Ulilani Philip, SABC News, Parliament.